Hi, everyone. So I'm here to share our work in the Philippines on community-shared agriculture. It's basically a vision of uniting eaters or consumers with farmers and ecosystems in a happy community. And in a way, it's to go beyond traceability towards community and real dialogue. So we heard a lot about why we should have this conversation from yesterday. But on a personal note, I wanted to share how when I graduated over 10 years ago, farmers were marching to the capital on hunger strikes. They were asking for their land. They were hungry. And I grew up in Metro Manila quite daily aware of the irony that the people who grow our food go hungry every year. And furthermore, it seemed like we were looking to a world where they'd be even more oppressed and even more vulnerable to climate change effects, extreme weather events, and we were stuck in some system, this blind, oppressive system that I could do nothing about, that I was powerless to contribute to. Until, of course, the idea of community-shared agriculture came to mind. So I was working at an NGO, and I met a volunteer who was pretty good at cooking, and I asked, how did you come to be so good at cooking? And he said, well, I get this box of vegetables every week, and it's seasonal, it's fresh, and I just have to work with what I have. And I thought, oh my God, this idea is brilliant. It could do so much for our farmers in the Philippines, for our smallholder farmers. So the whole idea of community-shared agriculture, and I think some of you may be familiar with the concept, there are examples in Japan, in Europe, in the US. The whole idea emerged to support organic agriculture with the insight that we cannot simply change the way that we produce, but we must also change the way that we consume and distribute our veg. We can't just have a system that is suddenly clean and fair and diverse without the kind of diets changing as well. And of course, the whole idea is to shift from being a powerless consumer to a co-producer, someone who cares about agriculture and has a real stake in the way your food is grown. So the idea is really about bridging you directly with the farmers through a beautiful basket of vegetables that you get fresh and seasonal every week. And the heart of it is, of course, relationship. Now, the question is, how do we take this idea that I took from the global conversation, and make it work in our context in the Philippines with farmers far away, with farmers in different contexts, upland, lowland, indigenous peoples, and make it work for our diets and the way that we live and work in Metro Manila. So this is how we did it. Every year, we set the prices with our farmers. So these are smallholder farmers that own their own land, and they work in groups, in cooperatives, and associations. And they're usually taught by either the municipal government or NGOs on food security and how to shift to organic farming methods, how to make their own compost and fertilizers. So we work with them, we set prices once a year, and we plan with them what's seasonally available, what seeds do we have, what can we grow, what can we deliver each week. We teach them how to pack, do quality control, and deliver the vegetables by bus. So we currently work with farmers, over 80 farmers in Luzon. This is a northern region in the Philippines, and it's delivered to Metro Manila. Because our farmers are from different contexts, they're from anywhere between 2 hours to 10 hours away, and logistics change. We have a very different method with each of group, and there's a period of listening and understanding what grows, how their own cultures and their own interactions take place to devise a kind of marketing situation with them. But things are sent by bus because we work with small volumes each week. And they're packed by yours truly and a group of volunteers and my team twice a week. Our CSA is twice a week, but we deliver to restaurants and to grocery outlets twice a week. So this is the way it looks in our office. It's our office, our home, our packing area. And they're packed in these beautiful, reusable baskets or boxes that are from the south of the Philippines. So we call them, they're made out of pandan. I think you also have this in Indonesia. But the wonderful thing about it is that we use almost no plastic, and everything is reusable. So each time our subscribers pick up their vegetables, they return the old box, which we then reuse and reuse. So We also do farmers markets and farm trips, as well as community kitchens. So aside from the box of vegetables that you get every week, a lot of people don't really know how to cook with our indigenous varieties. So we have community kitchens where we bring in home cooks, chefs, and people to come around the kitchen and get your hands dirty, actually preparing recipes and things that they've developed in their own homes so that you can actually consume the food. We also have the markets to introduce kind of the more unfamiliar varieties and to really put a face to where your food comes from. And finally, of course, the farm trips, so people can actually grow their own rice and see the context in which their food is grown. So I want to spend the last couple of minutes sharing with you what we've learned, believing that you can probably take this into your own context and grow your own community shared agriculture program. So for me, one of the best things about the last 7 years was being told by a farmer, you know what, we didn't feel the lean months this year because of our work with you. And what I didn't realize living in the city was that because of the way a lot of our farmers live and work, where they have 2 seasons of cropping, either rice or sugarcane, or some monocrop that may be vulnerable to economic or climate risk, that there are periods of hunger. And because we deal with them every week, we deliver vegetables every week, they are in a way cushioned from these effects. They always have something. It's not a lot, but it's something to tide them through all throughout the year. Another thing is transforming attitudes. So farming tends to be somewhat shameful in the Philippines. A lot of farmers in the Philippines don't want to be farmers anymore. Or they say farmers lang kami, which means kind of like we are just farmers. And to have people like us or people from the city go there, even around their neighborhoods, go there and try to learn organic farming from them, changes the way that they think about themselves and changes the way that they believe what they can do and contribute to their society. Furthermore, with our consumers, aside from thinking, how much does this cost, or, please give me kale, now they think about, like, what is actually grown and when is it grown and how do the farmers cook this and why does it taste so good? So we are, in a way, widening the imagination of our consumers also. And finally, growing a community. Many of my friends right now are because of the work that we do, and we all contribute to all of this. So, in a way, I wanted to share about how we've shifted the problems into solutions. Many of our farmers are, I think, same in Indonesia, use up like 1 to 2 hectares of land holding, and without much capital can only make so much area productive. But this has turned into a solution because they have to work together, and there is always something then to deliver because of the diverse way that they're cropping vegetables. They have to work together to fulfill a delivery. One thing that we didn't realize at the onset but found out was because of the small scale in which we trade, this tends to favor not the male who's expected to find a wage no matter what, but the woman in the household who can tend a backyard garden and make money on the side. So this has immense food security outcomes for the household. We didn't design it, but it turned out more women are more involved in our intervention. And finally, with seasonal and local vegetables, because we have to work with what's available, we have to work with what's seasonally local, we learn more about what they actually produce. So we realize we have our own pears, we have our own kind of tomatoes, our peppers, these leaves can be eaten, and it brings us to ask better questions about what is indigenously available. So I think the best thing about the way that we work is being able to ask ourselves, what is our role in this ecosystem, both for the farmers and both for the consumers? And as a private citizen, someone who came up with this initiative, and over the last 7 years has grown it, I believe that our role in the ecosystem is to plant a seed like this, to plant an idea, and then to grow a tree. And over the last 7 years, we've been able to create a space for other people to then participate in. And in order to do that, I need a committed team. We needed to be in constant conversation with the farmers to understand what was going on. And it's brought on a lot of friendship and everything that works in this and that life is about. So given that the personal is political, we believe that change can only be social. So let's change the world with food. Thank you very much.